Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. In this video I will give you a complete farming guide for the Fate Apocrypha revival event. I have already made a complete farming guide for the original event 2 years ago, for both the raids and the free quests, so I will put a link to the playlist in question in the description below, and I highly advise you to check that one out. In this video I will instead upgrade those setups for both the raid and free quest using new DPS and the new supports available. Just to give you a quick preview, quick setups are the new way to go, while arts and buster setups only get some minor improvements over 2 years ago. Even if the raids are the main focus of this event, for those of you who will miss out on them, I will still give you my usual full farming guide for the best free quest available. As usual, if you find this content useful or if you have some suggestion for me to upgrade my guides, let me know in some way, leaving a like, a comment or subscribing to the channel. Moving on, I will divide the next part of this video in 4 sections to help you find what you need quickly. First of all, a quick event overview with all the most vital information. Next, the general farming strategy for this event, and finally in the last 2 parts I will give you the actual farming composition for the raids and at the end the free quest. This Fate Apocrypha collaboration is a farming event with the usual 3 shop currencies and a point ladder to climb. For this particular event, for points I mean the Dracul coins. 3 gacha Cs will boost the drop rate for their respective shop currency, while a single shop C will boost the points drop rate. In addition to free quest, only during the first week of the event, raids will be available, dropping all event currencies and points. The raids also drop QPs and ascension materials, making them far superior than free quests and worth all your apples. Taking a closer look to the event limited Cs, the 5-star gacha C Distant Pilgrimage will be useful when farming free quest, while the 5-star damage bonus C at Trifas, which you can get from the event point ladder, will be useful for farming both the raids and free quests. All the servants that appear in the Fate Apocrypha story will get a damage bonus and a bond bonus for this event. And in case you're wondering why Kintoki, David, Benkei and St. George got a bond bonus, that's because in the original idea they were supposed to appear in the story but were cut during the development of the light novel. For this revival we also get some juicy rank up for Shiro, Vlad and Mordred, the last of which also gets a new outfit. If you still don't have your own Sig because you missed the previous event, I highly suggest you to get him this time. In my opinion, he is easily the best free farming servant we have got so far, and with Castoria release in a few months, he will become even stronger. And even if you already got him, just be sure to get all the copies from this event to get the extra rare prism. Now let's talk about the general farming strategy for this event. During the first week of the event, your only focus must be the raids. You can easily clear the event shop and point ladder by only farming raids, if you have enough apples stored anyway. In order, you'll need to complete the latest main quest to gain access to the raids. Then farm those raids quickly before they expire using all of your apples. During the dead time between 2 raids, use your natural AP to farm free quests in order to get extra apples to use on the raids. Repeat this process again and again until the second week of the event. There will be no more raids, so you have all the time to clear the remaining free quests. That way you can clear the event shop and the point ladder if you haven't farmed the raids enough. If you need a quick but exhaustive event overview, you can use the infographic on the screen right now, made by Kevin Rielk. Good job as usual. I will go over the details about raids and free quests in the next two dedicated sections, but here is a quick tip since we have the infographic on screen. You should of course focus on the raids that drop the materials that you need. For this reason, the first 4 rotation of single target raids are the best option for you. That's because in the 5th and final rotation of AoE raids, 2 different enemy servants can spawn randomly, dropping of course different materials. In other words, thanks to the RNG involved in the spawning of the enemy servants, you can't easily target a specific material like in the first 4 rotation. Before moving on to the next 2 sections dedicated to the raids and free quests, I will put here the usual farming tips with the assumption I've used for the calculation regarding the farming composition. And if you want more details regarding how I rank the different farming setups in the last part of this video, you can check the explanation on the screen right now. Now it's time for the details, the tips and the actual farming composition for the raids. As I said at the beginning of this guide, you can find my old farming setups for both the raids and free quests linked in the description below. It's a playlist containing 9 different videos, the first 7 for the single target raids, 1 for each class, the 8th one for the AoE raids, and the final one with a demonstration for farming the best free quest nodes. Those old setups still works today, so you are free to use them as they are, or instead you can check the remaining part of this video to see how we can upgrade those setups or find new ones. The new supports released in the past 2 years that will replace old ones for raid farmings are the following: Skadi of course for quick setups, Bride and Reynes as general supports with 30% MP charge, Langling and Benihemma for their 20% MP charge, and finally the 2 new free-to-player supports for Arts and Buster with 10% MP charge, Ryoma and Gong. Spoiling the conclusion, quick setups are of course the best option for the raids this year. Buster setups have slightly better option, we are talking about 10% more buffs, but only for order change setups. So if you want to farm as fast as possible, the setups will be exactly the same as 2 years ago. Even Arts setup have slightly better option, this time we are talking about 10 or 15% more buffs regarding all farming setups, with or without order change. Finally, when choosing your farming setups, remember that MP damage buff and special damage buffs are basically wasted this time, given the 200% buff from the damage bonus C. For this reason, new supports like Santa Attila with her 30% MP damage buff, or Boudica with her 50% special damage buff against Spartacus, are not optimal choices, so they won't be present in the next part of this video. Before moving on with the farming compositions, a quick tip on how to maximize your QP drops while farming the raids. All of them drop around 1 million QPs on average. For those that drop bronze and silver currency, of course the Bella Lisa C is the best choice, followed by the Mona Lisa C. However, for the raids that drops gold currency, highlighted on the screen right now, the best Cs to use to maximize your QP drops are shown in order on the screen right now. Max Living Broken Distant Pilgrimage is the best choice, followed by Max Living Broken Support Bella Lisa, then the base Distant Pilgrimage C, and finally Max Living Broken Mona Lisa C. That's because for those specific raids, using the 5-star Gacha C will give you more QPs by exchanging the extra gold currency in the event shop. Regarding quick farming setups for the raids, all quick DPS can work. most of them only need double Scadi and Chaldea Mystic Code, so they are super fast too. In particular, thanks to the event damage bonus, Fran and Atlanta Alter can take care of all the raids for you, both single target and AoE. If double Scadi only is not enough, you can use order change with the supports on the screen, which are ordered from left to right in decreasing order of efficiency. Regarding the AoE raids, remember to use single target debuffing skills, like Torture for Elizabeth, on the Evansville Mimicry, since out of the two enemies you are facing, they have the highest HPs. Moving on with the Buster farming setups, you can check on the screen right now the best possible composition, both with or without order change. Which setup you should use will depend on the NP charge skill available to your DPS of choice. If it's not clear from the infographic on the screen right now, Sanzang, Cersei and Avicebron will benefit the most from Double Merlin of course, but should use a different Mystic Code and order change support compared to other DPS with only 50% NP charge. Furthermore, just to be precise, Karna, Arjuna, Carmilla and Consort U share the exact same optimal setups with DPS with exactly 20% NP charge. And finally, if you want to use Ruler Artoria for the AoE Berserker raids, even with her 40% NP charge, her optimal farming setups are exactly the same with DPS with 30% NP charge, with the addition of Shakespeare among the best order change supports. Regarding the arts farming setups, I followed the same principle with the Buster setups, dividing them in different categories with different NP charge skills for the DPS of choice. As always, just to be absolutely precise, all the arts DPS with more than 50% NP charge are not useful for these raids. Medea and Paracelsus have very low damage multiplier, so forget about them, while Nitocris can barely clear the AoE raids with her optimal farming setup, but only if MP5. At that point you should use Sig that gets the damage bonus and the bond bonus. The smart ones among you may suggest Melt Lancer that has potentially 60% NP charge. However, her optimal farming setup only includes a single waiver, that means that she will get only 40% NP charge in practice. With the raids out of the way, we can now talk about the free quest. All the 4 best farming nodes share the same layout of 3 enemies for each room. However, for this specific event, the last room has a very high HP boss, way higher than usual. For this reason, we can divide the farming setups that you will find in the remaining part of this video in 3 different categories. First of all, quick and arts looping setups that use an event bonus servant, specifically Atalanta, Achilles, Astolfo, Sig and Fran. Those DPS will loop as usual and they will manage to clear the last boss in room 3 thanks to their event damage bonus. Secondly, we have quick and arts setup that can loop with the event damage bonus C, in other words with a 0% starting NP charge C for the DPS that will loop. Finally, we have quick arts and buster setups that will use a DPS with event damage bonus C to clear only room 3. To reach the required minimum damage, for arts and buster setups, only the DPS with NP charge skill will be available. For this last type of setups, room 1 and room 2 will usually be taken care of by either Arash, Gong or Paracelsus in room 1 and by Avicebron or Spartacus in room 2. That's all for today, guys. I will now leave you to the actual farming composition. As always, if you have found this type of content useful, please leave a like, a comment or subscribe to the channel. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye bye.